So in the first question, it asks to describe the two basic components of oppositional culture thesis. The book says that the first one is African American children don't do well in school because they equate school success with acting white. And number two, African American children have responded to widespread discrimination by developing an identity in opposition to dominant white culture and thus is in opposition to school success. It also asks, to what extent do you find this explanation for the achievement gap persuasive? I don't really think it's that persuasive because the book mentioned was only with about 33 students, and it used things like black children received signals from both black and white communities that led them to reject schooling as a route to success, along with stuff like the racial experiences that the black students received caused distrust. And the reason I think that it's not that persuasive is because down on page 171, it talks about a study with about 72 students, and it basically just contradicted that study with 30 people. The study found that a lot of students were positive about school and felt like it was important. Symbolic violence is a dominant group that creates a context in which the norms, values, and tastes of other groups are labeled as inferior. Okay, so a real-life example of symbolic violence would be a little bit down, 174. It says that an example of this symbolic violence in the United States is the idea that standard form of English is spoken by middle-class white Americans is an indication of intelligence and eloquence, whereas the forms of English that working-class African Americans speak to one another is an indication of ignorance. So the reason I think that this contributes and reproduces racial inequality in the educational system is because mentions that children who grow up in homes where standard English is spoken can speak this language in school and receive praise for their intelligence and eloquence. Meanwhile, children raised in homes where other forms of English or other languages are spoken must learn new languages and accents in school, and their teachers may tell them not to speak the way their parents do at home. The act of telling children that the way their parents speak is inferior and unacceptable in a school environment and can amount to symbolic violence.